This is Chuck W3ON operating as W3OC net control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. This net emits every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system, operating on 147.12 megahertz. Okay. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Green Oak, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org, trarc.org, and also on Facebook. Radio Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. Currently at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. We're open this for checking into emergency or priority traffic at this time. Okay. Does anyone have listings of Silent Keys? Any radio amateurs have recently passed away? Okay. I guess by now many of us, everybody on frequency has heard that Pope Francis from the Holy Roman Catholic Church passed away today. So we're going to take a few minutes standby in remembrance of Pope Francis. This is W3OC. Okay, it's W3OC, thank you. All right, let's continue. I got the net there tonight. The Two Rivers Club, we have a bunch of radio activities we do during the course of the given month. We have weekly, we have nets on various frequencies. Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater frequency is the Two Rivers ARC Gap Net. It's a social gathering. You can join us for that. Thursday evenings on 28,460, plus or minus operating frequency. We have the Two Rivers ARC GapNet 10-meter version. We're also scheduled for 40 meters on at 6 o'clock. I don't have more information on that at this particular time. We also have other activities during the course of the month. We have, like I said, we have the Radio Club meetings on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. At Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Company. We have operations night on the second Thursday of each month. That's a social gathering, and also that's held at the 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. It's in Lincoln Borough. That's an on-the-air activity, and sometimes we have guest speakers talk about various subjects. That's a couple of hours. Welcome to join us for that. Plus we participate in the Ham Fest once a year, which we just had here a couple weeks ago. We also do participate in Winter Field Day, the AOL Field Day in the summertime in June. Excuse me, and also the PAKSO party. So we have a lot of activities to do. You're welcome to join us for any of those activities. Okay, looking at the regular list of things that are coming up. Let's see, where is this chart? This Sunday, April 27th, is the Pittsburgh Antique Radio Society's Radio Fest, or Tri-State Radio Fest it's called. It specializes in antique radios and electronic equipment like that. They have a flea market and an auction. It's going to be held at the Center States Banquet Hall in Monaca, PA. That's at that's a shopping center, and right off. I think it's off of 79, I believe. in Monaca, PA. Also coming up, May 4th, is an amateur radio emergency services activity called the Amateur Radio Operators Help with the Pittsburgh Marathon. That's a sporting event involved with hundreds of people running around the city of Pittsburgh in a marathon activity. And radio amateurs will usually help with that. The coordinator is Bob NU3Q, who's also the Pittsburgh area amateur radio emergency coordinator. If you want to sign up for that, you can do so by contacting Bob. He's got an email address, nu3q@nu3q.us. And also you can find out more information about it on their Wednesday night net that they have on the 14709 repeater starts at 9 o'clock p.m. Okay, let's see, we have other stuff going on. Currently, the Two Rivers Club, we are conducting amateur radio technician license preparations classes. They just started last week. They're for a period of 6 weeks. So there's 5 more sessions for that. They start at 6 p.m. and they run for 3 hours, but followed on May 29th by an exam session by the Two Rivers ARC VE team. Anybody's interested in that, they should contact Jim, N3 Juliet Hotel Bravo. You can do training at trarc.org or 724-518-5251. I don't know if you can still get into that or not. But okay, that's currently in operation. North Hills Amateur Radio Club is currently conducting a raffle for Kenwood THD 75A tri-band HT, including extras. Includes an extra antenna and a Kenwood rapid charger. Tickets are $10 each. There's only 250 tickets. If you want interested in that, you can go to any of the North Hills Club ARC club functions, or you can do mail to P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh 15237. Okay, let's see here. Hamfest-wise, the next local Hamfest in the area is June the 8th. That's the Breeze Hitters' 68th annual Hamfest Electronics and Computer Show at the Butler Farm Show Grounds, 625 Evans City Road in Butler, PA, same as the last year. It's also the site of the 2025 ARL Western Pennsylvania Section Conventions. They're going to have an indoor and outdoor flea market space available. All kinds of vendors are scheduled for that, including KJI, ICOM, DX Engineering, Radio Identity, N3ZN, Help Antennas, and a whole bunch of others. They're going to have BE license exams in the morning at 8:30. The ARL DXCC card checker will be there, and a bureau representative. Live demonstration of the WEARS Emergency Communication Mobile Unit, Breeze Shooters Award Prize presentations, all kinds of prizes. Go to their website, www.breezeshooters.org, for details. Ninth is the Uniontown Amateur Radio Club 75th Annual Gap Fest at their club grounds, Saturday, August the 9th. 8 a.m. is when it starts. Information was on their website, www.whiskey3PapaIndiaEcho, w3pie.org. That's the locations on the old Pittsburgh Road, just off Northgate Highway or / Route 43 Montfayette Expressways. It's not too far from Route 51. That's coming up on August the 9th. Heavy Radio Society has announced their swap and shop is Sunday, August the 24th at their club grounds near Kensington, PA. Address is 2335 Turkey Ridge Road, New Kensington, PA 15068. Talk in if you need directions on the 14664 repeater. they got a list of prizes here. It says the main prize is an ICOM IC7300 and an Astron SS30M AP power supply, plus all kinds of door prizes, big LACW key. And they're known for their breakfast and lunch servings. That's on Sunday, August the 24th. Okay, September 7th is the Butler County Amateur Radio Association's Swamp Fest at the Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. That's coming up. They'll have amateur radio exams and prizes and all that kind of good stuff. That's on Sunday, September 7th. Okay, that's what I could find. I'm sure there's other stuff I'm missing, but that's what I got listings for. As far as the world DX is concerned, we've had some geomagnetic disturbances this week. They've put mostly abated from what I understand, and things are still, signals are still quite loud on the various bands. I know lately this operator has heard the major DXpedition going on down in the British Virgin Islands. I think they're on Tortola as the island where they're at. 5 operators are from the Bavarian DX Association, operating on Victor Papa. Their call sign is Victor Papa 2 Victor India. They're operating 160 through 6 meters on CW, sideband, and digital modes FT8. So, and when I've been listening for them, they've been quite strong. If you're interested in that, if not, well, that's okay too. There's all kinds of other stuff going on as far as that's going on. I remember recently reading that the AOL DX Century Club Advisory Committee has stated that those who worked the Mount Athos DXpedition here a month or two ago, they were only on the air for about 2 days at the most, and then they were ordered off the air. But you're allowed, if you work them, you can apply for credit for that for the Mount Athos DXpedition. That's a pretty tough one to get because there's not much operations out of Mount Athos. It's mostly I think it's a peninsula, and it's mostly has a lot of has monasteries and things like that on. So they don't exactly encourage amateur radio. It's there if need be. The call signs are usually something like Sugar Victor 0 something / and a call sign. So that's a good one to get if you can get it. Okay, that's kind of what I got from the world of DX. Okay, do I have anything else? No. I'll take a standby. Anybody need to repeat for ending a purchase? W306. All right. Well, I guess I didn't take any check-ins, so let's get into this. Any members of the board of directors wishing to check in?
Net control. Recognize Kilo 3 Charlie Romeo Oscar John Baldwin. No comments, no traffic.
W3OC. Please recognize November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo Portable here in Pleasant Hills, along with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
We got Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar, Kilo November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo, with KB3WP and W3 Delta Tango Bravo, W3 Delta Tango Papa. Anybody else from the board of directors wishing to check in? All right, not working for stations operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County. At this time, I'm going to give the guys on Echolink, if there's anybody on there, first chance. Anybody on Echolink, call now.
Net Control 3OC, this is Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff and Irwin on Echolink. Good evening everybody on the net, no traffic.
Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray on Echolink. Anybody else on Echolink? Okay, none others. All right, anybody else that wants to check in mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Bravo 3, Oscar X-Ray Hotel, Bill in Hancock County, West Virginia. Good evening, everyone.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima, Bruce in South Connersville, Fayette County. Good evening, good evening all. Listen.
W3OC. This is Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3, Alpha Charlie, Antonio Portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone else on the net tonight. I have no traffic.
W3OC. This is K3LL, Cliff in Westmoreland County. No traffic in and out.
W3OC. Please recognize November 3 Lima, Kilo Foxtrot. This is Lou in Pleasant Hills. Good evening to the net. No comments, no traffic.
W3OC. Net control, please copy November 3, Delta Romeo Bravo, N3, DRB, Dave and Export. No traffic.
W3OC. Here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Monroe and Elizabeth Township.
I got a bunch there that time. Thank you all. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel, Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, excuse me, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Portable, Kilo 3 Lima Lima, November 3 Lima Kilo Fox, November 3 Delta Radio Bravo, and Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio. Anybody else mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County? November, general check-ins. Anyone else like to check in? That's not a call now.
W3OC. Whiskey Alpha 3, India Oscar Uniform. Kilo here.
W3OC. Please recognize Alpha 3 Mike Romeo, AA3MR. Name is Walt. Portable Clareton Works. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No comments.
Net control. This is November 3, Juliet Papa, Quebec, Kurt in Norfolk Cells. Good evening to the net. No comments.
W3OC.
This is KA3, KUV, Dennis and Plum. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim at Carnegie.
It's W3OC for the Two Rivers Net. This time I got Whiskey America 3 India Oscar Uniform, Alpha 3 Mike Radio Portable, November 3 Juliet Papa Quebec, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Anybody else? All right, okay, thank you all for taking the time to check them this evening. I did all my spiel already, so let me see what the Newsline's got tonight. This is W3OC.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2477 with the release date of Friday, April 18th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams gain an exemption from Iowa's distracted driving law. A popular digital amateur radio newsletter prepares to hold its first big conference. And a dramatic rescue of a soda operator on a California mountain. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2477 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here is Jim Dameron, NATMW. Our top story this week is about the distracted driving law in states around the U.S. that prohibits drivers from sending text messages or performing other functions with a handheld device. Iowa has just become the 31st state to add language to their law exempting licensed hams from those restrictions. Dave Parks, WB8ODF, tells us what that means.
Amateur radio operators in Iowa have won an exemption to the state's new distracted driving law that takes effect on the 1st of July. The governor signed the bill into law on the 2nd of April after both the State House and Senate passed it overwhelmingly. It bans drivers from using mobile phones or any wireless device while behind the wheel unless it's hands-free or voice-activated mode. The bill, which was 5 years in the making, exempts licensed hams who are using two-way radios. Iowa joins 30 other states, including New York, Arizona, and Minnesota, in granting hams permission to operate their radios while driving. This is Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
In Australia, the communications regulator is looking for input on some minor changes in language affecting the nation's new amateur class license. As we hear from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
The Radio Communications License Conditions Determination 2015, which provides conditions on the use of amateur radio assigned and non-assigned licenses, is being reviewed by the Australian Communications and Media Authority before it expires October 1, 2025. While many amateurs now operate under the Radio Communications Class License 2023, existing non-assigned amateur licenses will continue to exist and operate under the conditions of the 2015 Amateur LCD until they expire. The authority's goal is to fine-tune the language of the LCD so it aligns with the new amateur class license. Although the ACMA is seeking comments from the public, the authority stresses that this review is not considering major changes, such as amateur access to bands, but a list of simple recommendations that are now available for viewing in draft form. Comments are due no later than Monday, the 26th of May at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. To see the draft document, follow the link in the text version of this week's newscast, arnewsline.org. I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Hams in Ohio are mourning the loss of a friend, a mentor, and a familiar face to visitors at the Voice of America Museum. We learn about him from Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
If you've ever been to the Voice of America Museum in Westchester, Ohio, it's possible you met Bob Fay, WB0NPN. He was an active member and past officer of the Westchester Amateur Radio Association, which has its shack inside the museum. Bob became a silent key on the 5th of April. First licensed in 1973, Bob was especially devoted to public service and emergency communications in different states through the years. He'd been active in Hamilton County, Ohio areas, as well as Lake County, Illinois races, and was a special deputy sheriff for the Hennepin County, Minnesota Mobile Amateur Radio Corps. He had also been deeply involved in emergency communications in Riverside and Los Angeles counties in California. His long tenure as a ham deepened his appreciation for radio, and he especially loved sharing his enthusiasm and expertise with the next generation. A proud moment for him was his receipt of an Elmer Award in 2016 from Christopher Bro, KD8YVJ, now KK8C, after Chris became the 2015 recipient of the Hiram Percy Maxim Award from the ARRL. Bob was 89. This is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Hams in Australia, especially the close-knit community of YLs in Tasmania, are grieving after one of their own has become a silent key. They describe a leader, an innovator, and inspiring voice, as we hear from John Williams, VK4JJW.
Remembered for her leadership and her personal touch as president of the Northwest Tasmania Amateur Radio Club, Shirley Hardstaff, VK7HSC, had been immersed in amateur radio since the first day she got her license. A familiar face to many in the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association, or ALARA, and at many gatherings in Tasmania, Shirley became a silent key on the 5th of April. Her friends recalled her as someone with a leadership style that brought a personal touch to YL meetups, placing less of an emphasis on business and committee formalities and more focus on social interaction. In 2019, she organised and funded the bi-monthly Chat and Show, which was held at the Penguin Rec Centre and later the Ulverstone Rec Centre until 2021. Her on-air presence embraced traditional HF as well as other modes, including Echolink, DMR, IRLP, and SSTV. She often served as stand-in net control for the Mount Duncan net and a big supporter of the scouting event Jamboree on the Air. Shirley, who was the VK7 representative to ALARA from 2010 to 2014, was elected president of the Northwest Tasmania Amateur Radio Club in 2010. She stepped down in 2023. She and her late husband, Max, VK7KY, were widely known for their travels and were familiar faces at ham radio events around Tasmania. Shirley was 83. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
The Zero Retries newsletter, which offers readers articles on technology and innovation in ham radio, is branching out to host its first digital conference later this year. It will be held in Washington State. We have details from George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU.
September will be a big month for technology and innovation in amateur radio. At the inaugural Zero Retries Digital Conference, many of the articles readers have enjoyed in the newsletter will come to life. Those attending can expect to hear about the IP400 networking project and see demonstrations of the M17 digital voice data system and the MMDVM TNC data system. Conference manager Tina Stroh, KD7WSF, expects to put out requests for presenters very soon and will make a sign-in sheet available online. The conference will be held on the 13th of September at the Edward D. Hansen Conference Center in Everett, Washington. The Hansen Conference Center will be transformed into a kind of epicenter of digital innovation at that time. The Zero Retries Conference is taking place just as GRCon 2025 wraps up. GRCon is the annual conference for the GNU Radio Project and community. That conference runs from Monday, September 8th through Friday, September 12th. Although the two events share the same venue, they are not connected to one another. Invitations to the Zero Retries Conference are expected to be sent out shortly. This is George Zafiropoulos, KJ6VU.
If you're a high school student or even younger, the easiest way to attend Hamvention is to simply show up on Saturday, the 17th of May, at the Greene County Fair and Expo Center. Admission is free that day for youngsters. Young visitors who want an experience that is designed just for them are also able to attend the Youth Rally, a special day-long program designed to offer students a variety of hands-on experiences in amateur radio. It's led by Steve Goodgame, K5ATA, the ARRL's Education and Learning Manager. Students get to take part in a short on-air sprint, contact a parachute mobile radio operator, and learn about satellite communications. Youngsters are encouraged to bring a 2-meter HT if they have one. Advanced registration is recommended for the Youth Rally and costs $20. Each year, the Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award receives nominations of promising young hams who truly impress our judges. It's time once again to give them the opportunity at the recognition they deserve. Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States. Consider someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. Find application forms on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. We're accepting nominations through May 31st. Time for you to identify your station. We're the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K7 MMA repeater in Spokane, Washington, Fridays at 5 p.m. local time. The application period is open for the Youth on the Air Junior Camp, which is making its debut this year for amateur radio operators under the age of 15. Applicants must have a valid U.S. ham radio license and will be expected to attend with a parent or guardian who needn't have a license themselves. This is a 3-day version of the YOTA region-wide camps for older youngsters and is modeled after the Kids on the Air program in IARU Region 1. It will take place in July at the Voice of America Museum in Westchester, Ohio. For details, visit YOTA.org. In the U.S., a recent 10-mile hike along one section of the Florida Scenic Trail became a journey of discovery, not necessarily for the hikers who know the trail well, but for the activity's organizers. They learned the value that amateur radio can bring to the experience for everyone. Jack Parker, W8ISH, tells us more.
A group known as the Tropical Trekkers has been celebrating the anniversary of a 10-mile stretch of the Florida Scenic Trail since it was opened to hikers 7 years ago. With mobile phones in hand, the organizers have traditionally tracked the celebration's hikers with as much accuracy as intermittent cellular service would allow. That is, until this year. In late March, 7 amateur radio operators were dispatched to checkpoints every 3 or so miles along the trail and used the VHF Simplex to ensure that no hikers became lost, injured, or in need of assistance during the annual event. Mike Bromley, WA8VEC, a longtime trail supporter, told Newsline that the presence of radio was a natural for the trail event, and he was relieved when his offer to bring a team of volunteers was accepted. Mike has known the needs of trail life well. For years, he has been known as Water Boy for his regular placement and replenishment of fresh water jugs along a 30-mile stretch of trail during hiking season. So far this year, he has already distributed 195 gallons. He also volunteers with the Tropical Trekkers, his chapter of the Florida Trail Association, to help with the physical maintenance of 70 miles of trail. 9 months before this year's event, Mike and his team of radio volunteers, some of whom are also part of ARIES or Activate POTA, started developing written forms and a protocol for tracking the hikers' whereabouts. On the day of the hike, they even provided return shuttle service for those who finished at the far end of the trail. This is not the journey's end, however. The team has been invited back and is already planning for next year. Mike said that perhaps next time they'll make use of WindLink too. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The Radio Society of Great Britain has recognized achievements of 2 key members of the U.S.-based Citizen Science Investigation Team, HAM-SCI. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, tells us more.
Congratulations to Nathaniel Frisell, W2NAF, and Gwyn Griffiths, G3ZIL, whose studies of ionospheric propagation with ham radio science citizen investigation, or HAM-SCI, has been honoured by the Radio Society of Great Britain. The Les Barclay Memorial Award has been given to Nathaniel for HAM-SCI's contribution in elevating amateur radio-based citizen science to a higher profile. The award is being given to him by the RSGB Propagation Studies Committee. He is the founder of HAM-SCI. Gwyn, G3ZIL, is the author of a series of articles published in several issues of the RSGB magazine Radcom in 2024. She's been recognized through the Society's Wortley Talbot Trophy, which recognizes in particular on her article Height of Reflections at HF that appeared in the August 2024 magazine issue. She is a long-time member of the HAM-SCI community. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
In the world of the X, Andy, G7SQW, is operating as EJ/G7SQW from Erinmore Island, IOTA number EU121 on the 19th and 20th of April. Andy will be on the HF bands using SSB and the digital notes. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Members of the Rede dos Emissores Portugueses, will be activating 3 call signs marking World Amateur Radio Day between the 18th and 24th of April. Listen for CR1 IARU from the Azores, iota number EU175, CR3 IARU from Madeira, iota number AF014, and CR5 IARU from mainland Portugal. QSL via CT1REP. Peter, PD1RP, is celebrating the 80th anniversary since the end of the German occupation of the Netherlands during World War II. He's on the air as PD80 free until the 30th of June. All QSOs confirmed automatically via the Bureau. Emergency preparedness comes in many shapes. It can be organized drill, a regularly scheduled net, or as 3 Hands in California recently found out, it can be as simple as leaving your 2-meter rig on and monitoring it. Ralph Squilacci brings us this week's final story, a tale of rescue following serious injury on a snow-encrusted soda summit.
Greg Davidson, KF6CNS, recalled sitting in his garage with a friend in late March when a call for help came over on the 2-meter simplex calling frequency. Vincent Levesque, KF6FLJ, had been hoping for a day of SOTA on Mount Williamson in the Angeles National Forest when his hike ended in a 150-foot slide down the hillside and a bone-breaking crash into a tree. Vincent had dropped his mobile phone. His emergency beacon had little power remaining, but he was able to call for help on his handy-talkie. Greg received that call 50 miles away thanks to a large commercial antenna at home. His immediate telephone outreach eventually led him to Will Richards, KJ6JJB, operations leader of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Montrose Search and Rescue. Will dispatched a helicopter and stayed on the phone with Greg, who was maintaining radio contact with Vincent. Pinning down the location's coordinates precisely posed a challenge for the helicopter, but Vincent was soon spotted, his bright orange windbreaker standing out against the snow. Vincent told Newsline he was airlifted to the nearest trauma center for surgery on his femur, and he is now recovering. He said Greg's attentiveness to the calling frequency that day may well have saved his life. Will quickly noted, however, that Vincent himself did some emergency preparedness too. The dashboard of his parked car held a map of his intended hiking route and another option to track him down. He said that both Vincent and Greg did everything right. This is Ralph Squilacci, KK6ITB.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website, arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, Ann Landers, VK7BYL, ARRL, David Bayar, K7DB, Yoda, Des Moines Register, 425DX Bulletin, Greg Davidson, KF6CNS, Ham SCI, Jocelyn Bro, KD8VRX, KCCI, Mark Gormley, WA8VEC, Norma O'Hare, VK2YL, QRZ.com, Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio World, ShortwaveRadio.de, Tech Central, Vincent Levesque, KF6FLJ, Will Richards, KJ6JJB, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Zero Retries, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, visit our website at arnewsline.org, and know we appreciate you all. We also remind listeners, if you like our newscast, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. Thank you. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
is W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. More announcements or anything like that at the moment. At this time, we'll take some late check-ins. Anyone else like to check out and done so, call now.
W3OC. Please copy. November 3, Bravo, Juliet, Alpha, Dave, West Bethlehem.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy 93 Sierra Hotel Fox. Handheld.
Okay, that time I got November 3 Bravo Juliet Alpha and the Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Fox. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to close the net out at this hour. Please don't forget our other nets. Our next scheduled net will be on Wednesday evenings at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater frequency. With that, we're going to turn the repeater back to general amateur use. This is W3OC, also known as W3ON, closing the Two Rivers net, and with 21 check-ins. Good night.